Pat yourself on the back because you are right here, right now, for a reason. Welcome to the On Purpose podcast, where together we will empower ourselves and others to live lives with more passion and purpose.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 139 of the On Purpose podcast. It's another one of the short ones. Jerrod here on the solo. Mr. Ali is out hustling some business down in Florida. So you got me today, and I'm excited to be here with you. Today's episode I've been thinking about for a while, and quite honestly applies to my life, and I think to many of yours. So I'm excited to share this message and to see what we come up with as a community. Episode 139 is going to be titled, Burn the Boats. I know many of you have probably heard this. It's a pretty common statement. Tony Robbins uses it. Napoleon Hill has it in his stuff. So I was curious, where did this even come from? So I did a little research, and best I can tell, if you can find something else out there, community, please chime in for me. But it looks like it originally started in 1519 with the Spanish commander Hernan Cortez, who basically sailed the Spanish Navy to the coast of Mexico, and as his men departed, he gave an order for the last person off each ship to light it on fire, basically creating a situation where his men either fought to the death and victory, or they would, fought to get victory on, conquer Mexico, or they would die there because retreat was no option. There was no going home without victory. And I think about that, and I think about how it applies to our own lives, and how many times we'll have ideas and goals and dreams, and we'll get out just far enough to where it's possible, and we could see it over the horizon. And we look, and there's that dream, and it's looking us in the eye, but between us and the dream is some uncertainty, and there's a gap there, and maybe there's mean animals and darkness and stuff we don't know the answers to. So we tiptoe forward, and then as soon as we get uncomfortable, what do? We turn around and run back to our ship and sail back to the safety of our life, safety of the known, safety of our backup plans, if you will. When in reality, if Cortez had been our general for our life, and we were headed towards that dream and goal, and he ordered us to burn the ship, and we knew we couldn't go back, what would we have done going forward? What would we have learned? What could have been a potential outcome? And this one's been hitting me hard because I'm not going to lie to you guys. Many of you that are following our story know that my wife and I sold our last property in Colorado and our business this past summer, and we've been living full-time on the road in our Airstream since September 1st. And any of you that know me beyond the show in my life know that camping was never really my thing. I never owned a pickup truck, never towed a trailer, never done any of the stuff I'm currently doing for my life. So this has been a huge learning curve. And I'm not going to lie to you. If you watch on Instagram or follow our blog, we try to be honest and show the ups and downs, but there's only so much of that you can show to really capture it on those mediums. So you mostly see the positive. You see the upside and the fun, and oh my gosh, they've been to so many places, and look where they're at now. But I'm not going to lie, team. If I hadn't sold all my property, if I still had a home to go back to, there was a time in our first month when we were out in the desert of Utah that Andrea was sick, and it felt like everything I touched was breaking and nothing seemed to be going right. I would have probably, I even entertained it, but I had no option, so I had to stay. But if I'd had a house, I entertained just leaving the keys with Andrea with a note that says, I can't do this, and hitchhiking or walking my ass all the way back to Colorado. Because that felt like the easiest thing to do. That felt like the path of least resistance and less pain. We just to quit. right? And to go back to the life I had once before, to go back to whatever it was I was doing that provided safety and security, but it also provided boredom and a desire for me to want more, but I could go back to it. But because we had burned our boat, meaning we had sold all the property, we had went all in, 100% in on this new lifestyle for at least a year, I was forced to look in the mirror and evaluate myself. I was forced to ask tough questions of, okay, what are you doing that's causing this? Why is this not working? What happened here? I was forced to be honest with myself and to know that I was capable and to remind myself of that I could do all of this. But I couldn't do any of it if I was looking at retreating, if I was looking at going back to where I had been. I had to close that chapter and move forward and put all my energy and my thoughts and my effort and my drive towards making the most of what is in front of me, because in front of me is where the dreams lied. In front of me is where our goals were, where our new life was, where adventure was, not behind me. And too many of us go in life and we know what's in front of us. We know it's out there. We know what's in us is greater than what we're doing in our day-to-day life. But we get to that moment where it gets scary, and instead of pushing through, we retreat to the boats. We go backwards. And if you think in your life where your most growth has come from, where you've really discovered yourself, and maybe you found that new passion, you found that new group of friends, you found the people that uplift you, the communities that challenge you to be better, the ones that hold you accountable, very seldom will you find those in retreat. Very seldom do you find those going backwards. You find them in front of you, in the scary places you need to go, fighting the scary animals that are between you and your dreams, because they're facing them as well. They're in the fight with you, because they too burn their boats. They too have no fallback plan. If we leave our boats behind us and we retreat to the boat and we get back into the safety of the boat and we row ourselves back out to sea, and as in Cortez's case, they row all the way back to Spain, what's left for us? Well, we have the what ifs. What if I hadn't retreated? What if I had faced my demons? What if I had moved forward in the face of adversity? We have the if onlys. If only I had tried. If only I could have done this. If only I would have done that. And ultimately, as we row ourselves back to where we've already been, the place that we were trying to get away from, the place that we were moving forward out of, the place we had outgrown, become bigger than, less challenged by, as we retreat to that place and we row that boat, that's when the R word starts to sink in, the word regret. And our story becomes not only what ifs and if only, but they add on the weight of the regret. Knowing when we look in the mirror, we never really tried our best. When it got difficult, when it got hard, we retreated to the safety and security of what we knew versus pushing forward into what could have become. So this week I want to challenge all of you. If you have that dream out there, you have those big goals, you have something more you know you should be doing in your life that's more purposeful, that is calling you, and you dream about it. When you go to bed, it's always there, and when you wake up in the morning, it's in your mind, and you're not stepping towards it. You're not giving it your best. You're kind of half in and you're half out. And every time it's difficult, you're in the half heading to your boat. I want you to stop for a minute and ask yourself, is it time to burn those boats? Is it time for you to burn your boat that anchors you to what you've been doing in life, not what you could be doing in life? Is it time to burn the boat that's actually holding you back and anchoring you down, pulling you away from growth, prosperity, happiness, and true purpose? Only you know the answer to that. But I can tell you, for me, my most recent adventures would not be possible if I'd have had that boat, because I'd have quit. And look at what I'd have left on the table, right? All these new adventures, all the new experiences, the growth in life. So look in the mirror as you get ready for work, as you listen before bed, whenever you're taking in the On Purpose podcast, and ask yourself, is it time to burn the boats? As always, I want to thank you for being here. 139 episodes. We can't do this without you. Want to make sure you're aware that we do have a special going over on our Patreon page. That is the only place you can support the podcast. There's no ads. There's no sponsors. We are strictly 100% funded and supported by our listeners. So if you join on Patreon before December 31st, 2021, you will automatically get access to our monthly coaching calls, our small group calls that, we have special guests on there. We do some exercises, and we just share stories and build community. No matter what level you join us at for the next 2 months, or how many ever weeks are left in the year by the time you hear this, you get access to the call. So join us on Patreon. We'd love to have you there. We'd love to keep growing our purposeful community around the world. I hope you're enjoying some of the new formats of the shows. We'll get Ollie back on here real soon to share some exciting stuff about what he's got going on in his life, and we'll get some guests rolling. And in the meantime, move forward, pursue your goals, pursue your dreams, burn them damn boats, and let's get after it. And remember, team, life is far too short to live any other way than on purpose. We will see you all again next week.